paraplegic Marine is sent to a distant planet in search for a mysterious mineral, but throughout his mission is torn between what he is ordered to do as well as his feelings for what could possibly be his new home. Almost sounds like Dancing with Wolves. It's Dancing with Wolves.
Rising with each beat that the music is bringing, new flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in.
Tactical nuke incoming!
How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video for you guys. And with this video, we'll be talking about James Cameron's Avatar, which was released in 2009. And to an extent, it was directed by James Cameron, also written by James Cameron, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, and Sigourney Weaver. Now, to an extent, this is... oh boy. This is going to be an interesting experience, because to an extent, I'm going to have to swap things around when it comes down to talking about this film. Because there is one thing in particular that is probably the best out of everything, and that's how visually appealing this movie is. I think ultimately I'm going to be discussing that first, as well as talking about, the story and characters. Overall, it is an interesting movie. And for, since now to its sequel, which I'm going to be taking my time to go watch, not going to jump on that immediately. I will be discussing it in length, or at least giving my personal thoughts. So let's go ahead and discuss graphics as well as animation and so on. Okay, so animation graphics. Again, visually freaking appealing. If there's one thing I can say about this film, it's the fact that when it comes down to style, or it's the world that they've created for Pandora, the alien moon that these characters are living on, there's a lot to it. To the plant life, the animal life, everything seems unique. When it comes down to the nervous system setup for everything on the planet is an interesting detail, where it seems like everything is connected, including, of course, not just the animals and the plants and animals, but also the sentient life, like the Na'vi, that are there. Did I say it correctly? I think I said it correctly. But overall, it is, again, visually freaking appealing to, again, everything that we see on the planet, to the military equipment that is produced to cause massive destruction. Overall, everything looks great. And unfortunately, I have to go downhill from here, for the most part. Although I joke about it, Avatar is kind of a cookie cutter of the original movie Dancing with Wolves, where you have an individual who is in the military, who's placed on an outpost and periodically begins to learn from one of the native tribes, and learns their culture and kind of starts to be assimilated to that culture and their beliefs. So to an extent, I kind of feel like that's kind of the backbone of this film, where you have the main character, Jake Sully, who is brought in to do a mission because, or at least a mission in space because his brother was killed, and they need his DNA to kind of continue the project so he can use a so-called avatar, which basically is a human-grown Na'vi body that has no, like, I guess, no brain function, but can be used as a piloted meat suit. And when he gets there, he slowly acclimates from being the soldier that he was brought in to be, to slowly starting to learn from the people there, to become part of their culture, to become part of the tribe, and further than that, become part of the planet itself, learning from it, growing from it, and doing whatever it takes to defend it, even coming close to like losing his own life. All in all, I mean, when it comes down to him, his story is very similar to the character from Dancing with Wolves. Even going as far as, falling in love with one of the members of the tribe. On one of the side things too, I mean, one of the side things is this is sort of a environmental message, which I think is what was one of the main ideas, where we have the humans who are going through basically destroying this planet in search for a rare metal that is supposed to be like a power source. And going further than that, we see that, Na'vi good, humans bad. And a lot of the characters, in fact, I'm combining characters and story with this. A lot of the characters kind of seeming one note, like the businessman only focusing on the money aspect of this mission, to the military guys thinking, oh, this is just a mission, we're going to do everything, doing whatever for whatever cost to complete this mission, screw the life that's already on this planet. And to an extent, a variety of scientists that we see, which, by the way, I think the scientists are a little bit more entertaining than the initial characters. Sigourney Weaver plays as one of the main scientists who, to an extent, has... And by the way, I'm also going to add some of the scenes from the extended cut. Has a lot of background with the Na'vi characters. And I ask you guys, if you can find it still, watch the extended cut, because it goes into more detail, like how she feels about everything, or at least her character, how she feels about what's going on with the planet, what the humans are doing to it, and her involvement. Because there's a point where it's mentioned that she was trying to teach the Na'vi, basically teach them, math, reading, and everything. But due to an incident, they shut that program down when a human soldier shot a Na'vi child, which, when the movie starts, is why there is this kind of like tension between the humans and the Na'vi, because unfortunately, us humans decided to be stupid. But overall, it is an interesting experience on and off, even though it is a environmental movie that is somewhat copying off of Dancing with Wolves. It's entertaining. The climax of the film is probably like my favorite, where everyone is coming together to fight off against the army. The coolest scene is when they're flying the giant, pterodactyl bird things. I can't remember what they're called. I'm sure somebody in the chat will, mention what they are. But overall, this aerial attack at the beginning of the climax is so freaking cool. And then apparently all the other wildlife coming together and, full force against the humans. And the movie ending in somewhat of a very, I don't want to say cryptic, but more so it kind of sets up a sequel, like sequel baiting, so to speak. All in all, it was, I want to say mixed bag. Mixed bag for this. I know I sound like I'm being indecisive and kind of being shitty towards this film. I'm not trying to. I'll say when in certain moments the certain moments are good, but ultimately it is or feels like a copy of Dancing with Wolves turned into an environmental piece. I like the music. When it comes down to the music present in this film, it was actually pretty damn good. I like the ending track for the credits. I have the freaking soundtrack on disc that I had purchased a while back. I thought it was that good. Overall, I have no qualms with the music. It's in of itself. I honestly really enjoyed it, and like I said, I have a CD of it, so. Now, moving on to the final part. Final thoughts. Not, again, I don't want to go, like, I'm trying to make this quick, but overall, graphics. Graphics are freaking amazing. The world itself is amazing. The plant life, the wildlife, the Na'vi, the machinery of the humans, everything looks good. It looks amazing. Story and characters, some of them are one note. The story itself feels like a environmentalized version of Dancing with Wolves. Again, not saying it's a completely bad thing, but there are similarities to it. Though with a kind of space, again, a sci-fi twist. Music itself is really good. And if I were to have to give final thoughts of this film, I want to give it a... I want to go with a 7 out of 10. There are things I like, some things I don't like, some things I felt indifferent for. But ultimately, I feel like 7 is fair. Considering, the world, again, the world itself, the graphics looks amazing. The music is amazing. Is good. I have a CD. Not trying to shoehorn that, hey, I have a CD, but to an extent, that my personal thoughts. That's why I feel it is good, because to an extent, if I felt it was worth to buy the music, then honestly I thought it was worth it. Story itself, again, it's a mixed bag because it does feel like a sci-fi environmentalized version of Dancing with Wolves. But ultimately, when it tells the story, especially with those notes, it does its job. Some parts I like, some parts I don't like. Overall, it's amazing when it needs to be. So, 7 out of 10, guys. My final thoughts of Avatar 2009. And with that will be my review of Avatar 2009. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick review. If you guys have anything you'd like to add, leave in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next video.